The time has come. Microsoft has released the new Flight Simulator 2024 and wants to set new standards with it. But what about players who have older hardware? Microsoft promises a better flight model and better graphics, and at the same time, performance should be increased. Is it really possible that the new Flight Simulator is faster despite improved graphics? Let's test it today in a direct comparison between the Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024. Our test computer is an older model with an Intel i7 processor, 16 GB of RAM, and an older graphics card of type GeForce RTX 3060 Ti. Thanks to the constant improvements of the 2020 Flight Simulator, you could set the settings to high to ultra even on an ultra-wide quad HD resolution. And I was able to consistently achieve 30 frames per second in almost all areas of the Earth. The terrain and objects level of detail was set to 130. To simulate the same test environment, we choose the same weather setting and environment. We start at Bora Bora Airport in French Polynesia. The airport was opened in 1943 during World War II, and the area was greatly improved in the Flight Simulator through a world update. Let's now switch to the new Flight Simulator 2024. Here too, we try to achieve a constant frame rate of 30 frames per second with our older graphics card. In order to get the high to ultra settings on an ultra-wide quad HD resolution, we have to significantly reduce the terrain and objects level of detail. With a value below 100, the game runs smoothly. However, we have to set these values lower than in Flight Simulator 2020. Now let's compare the Flight Simulator 2020 and 2024. When flying, we obviously notice the graphical differences. Nature seems more alive and natural. However, I noticed that you need a good internet connection. The textures load gradually because of the new streaming technology that Flight Simulator 2024 uses. However, it is possible to keep the 30 frames per second constant with settings. Due to the adjusted graphics settings, the detailed rock formations in the distance, for example, are not yet loaded, which looks a bit strange. However, up close, the graphic improvement is clearly visible. The rocks have different structures and look very realistic. A big improvement. The flight model also seems to have been significantly improved. It feels more realistic when flying. You feel the winds and turbulence more. When taxiing to the ground, you notice every unevenness in the ground and the machine moves more naturally. So in terms of flight behavior, there seem to be major improvements in the new 2024 Flight Simulator. We see a big difference in the Grand Canyon area. Each mountain slope now has its own structure and relief, which looks very realistic. The generically generated area now looks more natural and real in all parts of the world. The airfields worldwide have also been greatly improved. grass runways now have a stronger ground relief and also affect flight behavior. There are definitely many improvements. The representation of Earth graphically takes a leap forward with a jaw-dropping enhancement of the ground detail, the inclusion of worldwide ship traffic, the first ever implementation of helipads, glider airports, oil rigs and vertical obstructions around the world, all the way to the addition of dozens of animal species worldwide. However, Microsoft's promise that performance will be improved cannot be kept. On an older generation graphics card, you have to reduce the graphics settings significantly for smooth gaming. However, it is possible. There were a lot of bugs when the new flight simulator was launched, but I am convinced that with the new updates, it will be a great success again. What are your impressions of the new flight simulator? Have you already tested it?